Hi, my name's Dan Carter and I'm going to talk a little bit about the place kick. Now, there's lots of different ways you can do this, but I'm going to explain a few things about how I place kick the goal when I'm shooting for goal. I'll be doing it for a while, since I was about 4 or 5 years old. It's back as far as I can remember. Me and my dad were out in the backyard trying to kick the ball over the goalpost out in my backyard. So like I said, there are a few different ways to do it. But I'm going to explain how I like to do it and a few key fundamentals to help you with the place kick. Okay, so here we are about to set up for the place kick. One of the variables is the kicking tee that you may want to use. Now they come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes, some large, some small. I prefer to use this one here. So what I want to be doing is once I place the kicking tee down to the ground, I immediately look for the valve on the rugby ball. So this is where you blow the rugby ball up, and I want this valve facing the direction I want the ball to be going. So I've got the goalpost directly in front of me here, look for the seam, got the valve here, and I place that in the direction I want the ball to go. So that's my first step to make sure that the ball's going the right way. Okay, now once I've got that lined up, I find the sweet spot, and that's the area of the ball that I want to be striking with my foot, which is this area here on the ball, right along the seam. So I place that down. I like to lean the ball slightly forward to really open up that sweet spot. Once again, this is something that can vary between kicker. Some kickers like to lean the ball forward like that. I tend to have it more upright with slightly leaning forward to open up that sweet spot. So once I've got the ball on the tee, I want to be just deciding where I want my plant foot to be. Now the plant foot is very important. You don't want to be too far away from the ball. You don't want to be too close to the ball. Okay, so I'm roughly, it's about just under shoulder width apart. So once I've got these two things in place, I want to go back to my run up. Now that may vary from kicker to kicker, but it's important you find something comfortable to your style of kick, so you're nice and balanced when you come in to strike the ball. For myself, I like to go 5 steps back, and because I'm a left footer, I like to take 3 steps to my right. Now this may vary. Obviously things are mirrored with the right footer. They will tend to take their run up towards their left. So once I'm at the back of my run up, this is when the mind games can really start to come into play. So what you want to do is, what I do is to have a routine that I go through whichever kick I take, whether it's one here at training, in a game, a kick to win the game, everything is always the same. So you have a set routine to help you deal with stopping those outside influences. And so once I get to the back of my run up, I want to take a nice and deep breath. This helps me stay relaxed. So I take a nice deep breath, and then I look up at the left hand upright. Now the reason I look up for the left hand upright, because for a left footer I get a bit of natural left to right curve on the ball. So if I'm aiming at the left upright, then it will come round and through the post, and this can be mirrored obviously for a right footer looking at the right hand upright, wanting to bring the ball around. So once I've done these two things, I like to visualize the ball going through the posts. So I've already seen it sailing through, which is always a good confidence booster, followed by really concentrating on that sweet spot that I talked about earlier, the part of the ball that I want to be hitting with my kicking foot. One of the reasons I do that is to keep my head still. It's important when you're running into the ball that your head is nice and still. So by concentrating on a certain part of the ball, in this case the sweet spot where I want to be hitting the ball, it keeps my head nice and still, so it's not moving around all over the place as I'm addressing the ball. Once I've done that, I know that I'm nice and relaxed and ready to kick. Now I'm not just going to kick just yet, because there's a couple other points that I want to talk about when I'm coming into striking the bull. So I mentioned earlier about wanting to be nice and balanced and relaxed when coming in to strike the bull. Okay, so the run up has brought us in a nice controlled state to the rugby bull, and then, as I'm sure a lot of coaches and people out there have told you, the kick and the follow through are some of the most important parts of goal kicking, and that's true. So I've got my plant foot here, and I want to be nice and strong over the bull. Okay, I've had coaches tell me to make sure my head's over the bull, but for me that's quite unrealistic. So what I like to try and do is really be strong with my chest, and I want to be nice and strong over the bull with my chest. And if I'm in that position, then I know I'm nice and balanced and I'm not going to fall away. From there, my right shoulder is a very important part. I don't want this shoulder pulling away, opening up, because I know once I do that, then I tend to pull my kicks. So as I'm coming in, nice strong chest, strong shoulder, not opening up, so it's nice and strong in the direction, plant foot pointing in the direction I want to be kicking the goal, and then just a nice follow through towards the target. If you can bring that follow through up as far as you can, then it'll help not only with your distance but also your accuracy. So there are the main points to go through when place kicking. Yeah, probably best to crack into one. So there are a few points and processes that I go through when I'm goal kicking. I guess to round it off, you know, that ball placement with the valve facing the direction is a key point. Having a suitable run up, that may vary, but having a good run up that allows you to have a smooth entrance into towards the ball. Your foot placement is important, and then being balanced with your shoulder, your chest being strong over the ball, so you're nice and balanced when you're kicking it, keeping your head still, so you're always looking at the sweet spot and the target that you want to be kicking the ball, and then you finish it off with a nice strong smooth follow through towards the target. I mean, that's how I do it. It's taken a lot of years of practice, so the more work you put in, the rewards you'll get at the other end. So it's not easy, but it's a big part of my game that requires a lot of time, a lot of dedication, sacrifice, but the enjoyment's there. I love what I do, and Yeah, it's basically how I kick my goals.